I just gotta get out my frustrations. I am a huge Zombies fan. Not even just the band. I actually got to see them before the organist passed away, and that was an awesome show. And they played all the songs I love. I got other stories about it, but this is about zombies. And one of the greatest zombie games ever made is The Last of Us, and they decided to make a live action film. I always had doubts about Bella Ramsey. You know, I said she kind of looks like a claymation version of herself. She creeps me out. I'm probably creep you out too. But the point is that she got really good in season 2. Like, I didn't think she could carry it, and she carried it. All the way up until episode 6 and 7, you could see her break in character because she knows that she's going to get kicked out of the show. And they only made 7 episodes. And the first season had fucking Brokeback Mountain. I don't want gay love in my show unless it's in the game. And it's not in the game. Okay? I got so much to say about season 1. It only had 4 good episodes. Well, season 2 had some really good episodes. A lot of suspense, a lot of horror. They finally used this, like, stage 2 infected in the game is what they are. They stalk you, and they're, like, still kind of intelligent before the fungus rots their brain and they just become aggressive monsters. And the show left out spores, right? So they brought spores back, thankfully and finally. And the spores were done and introduced in such a fantastic way. They fall down an elevator shaft that's been sealed. People were lost, you know, it's a mystery. They build it, and the writing's really good. And then it just, like, falls off a cliff. The flashback episode, that's fine or whatever. You're gonna expect that. It's just filler. But then they have the finale instantly. And they're supposed to introduce a specific mutation of the zombies, and that's called the Rat King. And since they didn't introduce spores, you should never get your hopes up, because people are just going to ruin them, right? They introduce spores, and after the flashback, I expect the Rat King to come out. And I expect an entire episode of trying to escape it, because obviously Ellie in this series isn't so much of a fighter or a badass. She's just kind of making, shit happen. What is that? Candle wax, maybe, I don't know. But, so the way it should have gone, if they had quality writers and direction, because each episode has a different director, I think. I looked it up, and, like, just pick somebody. What the fuck is going on? And you guys, like, you have no idea how to make a climax. I mean, it's just, like, classic theater. You build until your climax. And then you smooth it out, and it's all even taught in, like, a curve with a parabola. But you gotta... this Rat King should have came out, and then it should have been spewing spores, right? So that's how the spores started happening down there. This Rat King amalgamated. It fuses, and, like, all the corpses bond together. Because this giant monster, because apparently they didn't want the bloaters to spew spores. They're just tanks in the show. That it breaks out, and so she has to escape. And, like, that would have been so good. It would have, like, after she tortures the girl for information, that leaves you on a subtle cliffhanger. And so you're waiting to see what happens. You enjoy the filler episode. She opens the doors or whatever that's behind the girl, and you hear something, growling or all sorts of weird sounds that you don't understand. Because in the series, in the show, they have that girl, the lesbian, who can count how many zombies. That's a foreshadow. And now you have an amalgamation of zombies. That is the Rat King. Right? That's where it should have gone. And it frustrates me that there's no quality in the writing. It sucked. It just pile drived right into the ground. We want horror. We want suspense. And we don't mind building character. You know, we want the character too. But you should open the door, and then you would have heard all the mouths, all the different zombies, some of them breathing and gasping and spewing spores, and then it can move. And so she would panic, she would run, try to get up the elevator shaft to where it's already been sealed, and the Rat King follows and it breaks out and infects everybody. And now you have a second wave of infection. And you bring back the most terrifying part of the first game. The first game's most terrifying part was spores. Because one spore in your lung would infect you. How do you get rid of spores? It's like getting rid of mold. You know? All bred molds. Even if you managed to somehow create a controlled environment and filtration, a clean room essentially, like a clean city, your filters are going to run out. The technology is going to run out. And people are going to go out and get infected by a single spore and come back and turn. And you can't test that. That's what it should have been. And so this Rat King breaks out and kills all the wolves in this facility. And Ellie's just trying to fucking escape, and she's sneaking around. There's no sneaky sneak in it. I mean, there's like a subtle sneaky sneak scene. One. In episode, 4 or something, when she encounters the scars. It's pathetic. It's fucking garbage. They wasted so much money on these shows. $15 million an episode. And what we got was Brokeback Mountain 2, the sequel.